Yo, 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 what's good? When I say P, I mean profit. When I say S, I mean seal. You did what I'm saying, baby. Now let's keep it moving. Today, I know I used to do the podcast and we you know, hit it with a video or whatever. But we gonna do this through the phone and we're gonna read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant. I know it's not exactly from the beginning, but we just gonna pick up where I left off and if any of you want the PDF file, just let me know. I can email it to you. You know what I'm saying? Email it to you for the good $5. You know what I'm saying? Um, phone number, whatever. But let's get into it. Different quadrants. See, I'm not even that far ahead. You know what I'm saying? I'm still kind of new. Different quadrants, different people. Chapter 2. Changing quadrants is often a change at the core of who you are. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, my highly educated dad always said. I had talked with him on several occasions, doing my best to explain the cash flow quadrant. In an effort to give him some new financial direction, nearing 60 years of age, he was realizing that many of his dreams wasn't going to be fulfilled. His blacklisting seemed to go beyond the walls of state government. He was now blacklisting himself. I tried it, but it didn't work, he said. My dad was referring to his attempts to be successful in the S quadrant as a self-employed consultant and as a B when he poured much of his life savings into a famous ice cream franchise that failed. Being bright, he conceptually understood the different technical skills required in each of the four quadrants. He knew he could learn them if he wanted to, but there was something else holding him back. One day over lunch, I talked to my rich dad about my educated dad. Your father and I aren't the same people at the core, said Rich Dad. While we both have fears, doubts, beliefs, strengths, and weaknesses, we respond or handle those core similarities quite differently. And just being who you are, it's like a core thing. Your spiritual core. I pray this answer a lot of my questions I've been asking myself. Because like a lot of us, we may have experience with being an employer. I'm sure we all do. We all done worked on the left side of being an employer. Um, Perhaps not everybody's been an S, which is a self-employed. I know I have, and I did quite well with it. I was coming home with like a good $80 a day. It was like dumb and trash, and I was like 17, 16, and I was like, hey, can I take out your trash for $5? And sometimes I got 10. Sometimes, so I did pretty well with that. As far as a B and an I, maybe I have not been aware if I've been one of those quadrants. Let me know in the comments if you've been a B or I, which is a business or an investor, a business owner or an investor. Moving forward, can you tell me the differences? I asked. Not over one lunch, said Rich Dad, but how we respond to those differences is what causes us to remain in one quadrant or another. When your dad tried to cross over from the E quadrant to the B quadrant, intellectually, he could understand the process, but he couldn't handle it emotionally. When things didn't go smoothly and he began to lose money, he didn't know what to do to solve the problem, so he went back to the quadrant he felt most comfortable in. The E and sometimes S quadrant, I said. Rich Dad nodded his head. He goes back. We initially go back to the ones we feel comfortable in. The E and S, the E and sometimes S quadrant, I said. Okay, we go back to one of those two. Rich Dad nodded his head. When the fear of losing money and failing becomes too painful inside, a fear we both have, he chooses to seek security and I choose to seek freedom. Um, a little backstory: I had a job. I was working as a court monitor, and my boss treated me unfairly. And I stood solid to my morals and integrity. So I said, you're not going to talk to me that way, and I quit. I wasn't seeking security. Because if I was seeking security, I would have just, that's my boss. Can't say shit to him because shit, I would lose my job. I said, fuck no. At that is the core difference. I said, signaling the waiter for our check. Even though we're all human beings, said Rich Dad, when it comes to money and the emotions attached to money, we all respond differently. And it's how we respond to those emotions that often determines which quadrant we choose to generate our income from. Different quadrants for different people, I said. That's right, said Rich Dad as we stood and headed for the door. And if you're going to be successful in any quadrant, you need to have more than just technical skills. You also need to know the core differences that causes people to seek different quadrants. Know that and life will be much easier. We were shaking hands and saying goodbye as the valet brought my rich dad's car around. Oh, one last thing, I said hurriedly. Can my dad change? Oh, sure, said Rich Dad. Anyone can change, but changing quadrants isn't like changing jobs or changing professions. Changing quadrants is often a change at the core of who you are, how you think, and how you look at the world. The change is easier for some people than for others simply because some people welcome change and others fight it. And changing quadrants is most often a life-changing experience. It's a change as profound as the age-old story of the caterpillar becoming a butterfly. Not only will you change, but so will your friends. While you'll still be friends with your old friends, it's just harder for caterpillars to do the same things butterflies do. That's true though. So the changes are big changes, and not too many people choose to make them. The valet closed the door, and as my rich dad drove off, I was left thinking about the core differences. Yeah, emphasizing on changes. I'm at the point where it's like I'm willing to like let anybody go if it's becoming in between who I'm becoming, and if you're not going where I'm going, then I'm okay with that. And I think that says a lot about me because like I'm willing to do what is necessary, any sacrifices in order to get where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand that you only have one life and no one else can live your life how you're supposed to live it. What are the core differences? How do I tell if people are an E, S, B, or I without knowing much about them? One of the ways is by listening to their words. One of my rich dad's greatest skill was being able to read people, but he also believed you could not judge a book by its cover. Rich dad, like Henry Ford, didn't have an excellent education, but both men knew how to hire and work with people who did. Rich dad always explained to me that the ability to bring smart people together and work as a team was one of his primary skills. When I was 9, my rich dad began to teach me the skills necessary to be successful in the B and the I quadrants. One of those skills was to get beyond the surface of a person and gaze into their core. Rich dad used to say, if I listen to a person's words, I begin to see and feel their souls. So as a young boy, I began to sit in with my rich dad when he hired people. From these interviews, I learned to listen not so much for words, but for core values, values that my rich dad said came from their souls. E quadrant words. E quadrant words. A person who comes from the E employee quadrant might say, I am looking for a safe, secure job with good pay and excellent benefits. S quadrant words. A person who comes from the S self-employed quadrant might say, my rate is $75 per hour, or my normal commission rate is 6% of the total price, or I can't seem to find people who want to work and do the job right, or I've got more than 20 hours into this project. B quadrant words. A person operating out of the B business owner quadrant might say, I'm looking for a new president to run my company. I quadrant words. Someone operating out of the I investor quadrant might say, is my cash flow based on an internal rate of return or net rate of return? Words are tools. I've thought about how I've been saying like I'm in pursuit of financial security. That sounds like I'm looking to become a E, which is a safe, secure with a good pay and excellent benefits. But when I say financial security, I think of like being able to have more than enough, good enough income where I could take care of my basic needs and then still be able to do the things I want to do. So I would say I'm still differentiating between that, but I know I worked as an employee before. I worked at many different jobs, and it has not gone well for me. I've worked at so many different jobs, and it's not to say some of those jobs I did enjoy. Like I did enjoy being a wheelchair agent at the airport. I did enjoy being a court monitor. I did enjoy working at the mall at a Chipotle. But Chipotle, made a complaint about like how I'm doing extra work, picking up extra shifts, extra hours, and I can't handle it. and they was expecting me to. So then when I'm put under the pressure and then my body starts shaking and I verbally communicated and then still had to be put in a position where I knew I wasn't going to be able to perform the best, I had to walk away. I walked away from that job literally shaking. I told y'all, court monitor, the last job I was working, my boss told me to shut up, and I didn't take that disrespect. I walked away. Wheelchair agent, I ended up getting fired from that because I was telling the boss that I was coming from another job interview, and they thought that I was getting ready to leave them, so he fired me right there on the spot. And all these are different experiences I have had with jobs. So my success being an employee, even though when I say I'm in pursuit of financial security, I'm thinking about like being able to have, and then I think about my lifestyle. Like I want to be able to go catch a flight right now and just be in another city right now and just enjoy the view and relax and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we start with I again. I quadrant words. Someone operating out of the I. Investor quadrant might say is my cash flow based on an internal rate of return or a net rate of return. Words are tools. Once my rich dad knew who the person he was interviewing was at their core, at least for that moment, he would know what they were really looking for, what he had to offer, and what words to use when speaking to them. My rich dad always said, words are powerful tools. Rich dad constantly reminded his son Mike and me of this. If you want to be a leader of people, then you would need to be a master of words. So one of the skills necessary to be a great B is to be a master of words, knowing which words works on which kind of people. He trained us to first listen carefully to the words a person used, active listening. Then we would know which words we should use and when to use them in order to respond to that person in the most effective way. Rich Dad explained, one word may excite one type of person, while that same word would completely turn off another person. You can think about like, it just put me down on a memory lane of someone, and how like, if you know how to communicate to a specific person, you not only they will feel understood, but they will be able to listen to what you're saying. So active listening really is a key skill. Like you have to consciously think about doing when you're talking to someone, interacting with someone, like listening. And that's not a easy skill to acquire, but I know I've been practicing active listening, and I've been getting better every day. Every day I try to every day, not try, but every day I am being an active listener. That being said, for example, the word risk might be exciting to a person in the I quadrant, but invoke total fear to someone in the E quadrant. Right. I knew me quitting my job because my boss disrespected me. I felt more excited about quitting than me staying there knowing I'm not valued or respected. And that's crazy. That makes me think about how I could be an investor, because only an investor would get excited about a risk that could potentially lose it all. Like taking a risk of quitting my job, knowing I'm not going to have a job or I didn't have nothing backed up after that. And it was unexpected. Like I walked in today, I thought I was going to have a good day today. It was just one of those days where, and that makes me realize I'm an investor. So with that being said, let's move forward. I took a risk and invested on myself in that situation instead of being a part of something that I knew I wasn't appreciated in. The word risk might be exciting to a person in the I quadrant, but invoke total fear to someone in the E quadrant. To be great leaders, Rich Dad stressed that we first had to be great listeners. If you don't listen to the words a person uses, you will never be able to feed their soul. You will never be able to feel their soul. And if you don't listen to their soul, you will never know to whom you are talking to. It makes me think about people, like certain dating relationships and interpersonal relationships you have with people. Like, does certain words you say affect this person in a certain way, and then what fears does this strike in a person? You know, like, oh, this person may have this fear of not feeling like they're not needed, and that may make them feel a certain way. And then this person may feel like, oh, I don't want to be abandoned, so they don't, certain words or certain things a person might say might trigger certain things in them. Core differences. The reason he would say, hear their words, feel their souls, is because behind the words a person chooses are the core values and core differences of that individual. Wow. And that makes me really think about, your core, right? What is your core values? You know your core values based off the words you say, based off the actions you take. Damn. So then that makes me think about how I'm an investor, because it was another story time. It was a female, and she needed help with bills, right? So I chose. It was a female, and she needed help with bills. I chose to sacrifice everything I was doing, and said that I would get a better investment on putting everything for her. And I invested. That makes me really think about how many times I've taken extreme risks to invest in something that was potentially greater on the other side. It was like, well, if it's a greater on the other side, then I get the benefits of that. But if it's not a greater on the other side, it's still great because I failed and I was able to get that experience to learn again. And that really makes me think about how I can be a day trader. Moving forward, hear the words to feel their souls is because behind the words a person chooses are the core values and core differences of that individual. The following are some of the generalities that separate people in one quadrant from those in another. The employee. When I hear the words secure or benefits, I get a sense of who the speaker might be at the core. The word secure is a word often used in response to the emotion of fear. If a person feels fear, then the need for security is often a commonly used phrase for someone who comes predominantly from the E quadrant. Like, I ain't gonna lie, when I be out, so many stories I want to tell you, I can't even tell y'all, but bruh, it really just makes me think about like who I am as a person and my life and the choices I've made to get me where I'm at now. And I think when you understand yourself as a person, no one can tell you who you are. No one can tell you or define you like, oh, I know this is good for you. This is not good for you because that person don't know you. You know what I'm saying? So if you let everybody else tell you how you should live your life, then you just following the crowd. With that being said, back to the book. If a person feels fear, then the need for security is often a commonly used phrase for someone who comes predominantly from the E quadrant. When it comes to money and jobs, there are many people who simply hate the feeling of fear that comes with economic uncertainty, hence the desire for security. The word benefit means people would also like some kind of additional reward that is spelled out, a defined and assured extra compensation, such as health insurance or retirement plan. People talked about benefits to me, and it was like, oh well, the job is such good benefits and this, that, the third. And I always thought like, benefits. Like, I don't want to work at a job for the rest of my life. I don't care about no damn benefits. The word benefits don't even register in my mind. Still to this day, it do not register in my mind. The key is that they want to feel secure and see it in writing. Uncertainty doesn't make them happy. Certainty does. Their internal workings say, I'll give you this if you promise to give me that in return. They want their fear reduced by the presence of some degree of certainty. So they seek security and strong agreements when it comes to employment. They're accurate when they say, I'm not that interested in money. For them, the idea of security is often more important than money. Employees can be presidents of companies or janitors. It is not so much what they do, but the contractual agreement they have with the person or organization that hires them. Yeah, money is important to me because without money, you can't live. Like people be like, oh, money is shit's rude. Shut the fuck up. You ain't never been homeless. You ain't never you ain't never laid your head on the concrete, so you don't know what it's like to not have it. You don't know what it's like to motherfucking knock on the damn car window or fucking drive-through lot asking, can you get some food because you ain't got no money. You don't know that. So motherfuckers be talking about, oh, money ain't that important. That's because they ain't, but you got to still be able to respect a person's values, I get upset about that because I've been without money, and I realize how important it is to have it, which is why I care about having money so much. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of willing to do anything to get me where I'm going. I ain't talking about anything, but like anything. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, moving forward, the S, self-employed. There are people who want to be their own boss or like to do their own thing. I call this group the do-it-yourselfers. Often, when it comes to the subject of money, a hardcore S doesn't like to have his or her income dependent on other people. In other words, if S works hard, they expect to get paid for their work. S don't like having the amount of money they earn dictated by someone else or by a group of people who might not work as hard as they do. If they work hard, they expect it to be paid well. Conversely, they also understand that if they don't work hard, then they don't deserve to be paid much. When it comes to money, they have fiercely independent souls. The emotion of fear. So while the E often responds to the fear of not having money by seeking security, the S often responds differently. The people in this quadrant respond to fear not by seeking security, but by taking control of the situation and doing it on their own. That is why I call the S group the do-it-yourselfers group. When it comes to fear and financial risk, they want to take the bull by the horns. In this group, you find well-educated professionals who spend years in school, such as doctors, lawyers, and dentists. Also in the S group are people who took educational paths other than in addition to traditional school. In this group are direct commission salespeople and real estate agents, as well as small business owners like retail shopkeepers, cleaners, restaurateurs, consultants, therapists, travel agents, car mechanics, plumbers, carpenters, preachers, electricians, hairstylists, and artists. This group's favorite song would be either "Nobody Does It Better" or "I Did It My Way." Nobody does it better, or "I Did It My Way." Self-employed people are often hardcore perfectionists. They often want to do something exceptionally well. Right? I've worked on my perfectionism so much to the point where I don't think I'm an S quadrant anymore. I think I'm an I now, because I'm realizing, like, I'm having these realizations of how I've been an investor and how my lifestyle is shaped a certain way. Self-employed people are often hardcore perfectionists. They often want to do something exceptionally well. In their mind, they don't think anyone else does it better than they do, so they really don't trust anyone else to do it. In many respects, they are true artists with their own style and methods of doing things, and that is why we hire them. If you hire a brain surgeon, you want that brain surgeon to have had years of training and experience. But most importantly, you want this brain surgeon to be a perfectionist. The same goes for a dentist, hairstylist, marketing consultant, plumber, electrician, lawyer, or a corporate trainer. You, as the client hiring this person, want someone who is the best. For people in this group, money isn't the most important thing about their work. Their independence, the freedom to do things their way, and being respected as experts in their field are much more important than mere money. When hiring them, it is best to tell them what you want done and then leave them alone to do it. They don't need or want supervision. If you meddle too much, they'll simply walk off the job and tell you to hire someone else. Remember, independence trumps money for this group. They often have a hard time hiring other people to do what they do simply because in their mind nobody else is up to the task. Also, if this group trains someone to do what they do, that newly trained person often ends up leaving to do their own thing, to be their own boss, to do things their way, or to have a chance to express their individuality. Many S types are hesitant to hire and train other people because once trained, they often end up as their competition. Damn. This in turn keeps the S types working harder at doing things on their own. How's everybody doing so far? You know what I'm saying? I'm back. Had to take a little break. Got some tea now. I was thinking about maybe I should start going live like on TikTok or something and read. Some people might find this interesting. They might find my voice attractive in a way where they would want to listen to me while I read. Who knows? Okay. With that being said, B quadrant. The B, the business owner. This group of people could almost be the opposite of the S. Those who are true Bs like to surround themselves with smart people from all four categories E, S, B, and I. Unlike the S, who doesn't like to delegate work because no one can do it better, the B likes to delegate. The true motto of a B. The B likes to delegate. The true motto of a B is, why do it yourself when you can hire someone to do it for you and they can do it better? My mom asked me to get her a cup of water, and I was like, I don't really want to do that. I wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm a perfectionist. I'm hired to do it. I was like, I can be doing something else better with my time. Been be filling up some water right now. What quadrant would that be? I would consider that an I. I mean, if I think I can be doing something better with my time, I can be investing my energy and time somewhere else better. That's an investor all day, every day. Now that makes me think about when I was younger. I do remember saying, like, I could be doing so much other shit than be doing what I'm doing right now. Henry Ford fit this mold. As one popular story goes, a group of so-called intellectuals came by to condemn Ford for being ignorant. They claimed he didn't really know much, so Ford invited them into his office and challenged them to ask him any question, and he would answer it. So this panel assembled around America's most powerful industrialists and began to ask him questions. Ford listened to their questions, and when they were through, he simply reached for several phones on his desk and called in some of his brightest assistants and asked them to give the panel the answers they sought. He ended by informing the panel that he'd rather hire smart people who went to school to come up with answers so he could leave his mind clear to do more important tasks like thinking. Or maybe I could be a business owner, because if I'm thinking, I could be doing something else. Like, I would rather someone else do this instead of me. One of the quotes credited to Ford goes, "Thinking is the hardest work there is. That is why so few people engage in it. Leadership is bringing out the best in people." My rich dad's idol was Henry Ford. He had me read books about people like Ford and John D. Rockefeller. The founder of Standard Oil, Rich Dad constantly encouraged Mike and me to learn the essence of leadership and the technical skills of business. In retrospect, I understand now that many people may have one or the other, but to be a successful B, you really do need to have both. I also now realize that both skills can be learned. There is a science as well as an art to business and leadership. For me, both are lifelong studies. When I was a boy, my rich dad gave me the children's book, Stone Soup, written in 1947 by Marcia Brown and still available today. He had me read this book to begin my training as a leader in business. Leadership, Rich Dad said, is the ability to bring out the best in people. So he trained his son and me in the technical skills necessary for becoming successful in businesses. Technical skills such as reading financial statements, marketing, sales, accounting, management, production, and negotiation. Let's read that one more time. Negotiation is something I've been learning about recently. He trained his son and me in the technical skills necessary for becoming successful in business. Technical skills such as reading financial statements, marketing, sales, accounting, management, production, and negotiation. Through each lesson, he stressed that we needed to learn to work with and lead people. Rich Dad always said the technical skills of business are easy. The hard part is working with people. As a reminder, I still read Stone Soup today because I personally have a tendency to be I personally have a tendency to be a tyrant instead of a leader when things don't go my way. Entrepreneur development. I often hear the words, "I'm going to start my own business." Many people tend to believe that way. Many people tend to believe that the way to financial security and happiness is to do your own thing or to develop a new product no one else has. So they rush out, start their own business. In many cases, this is the path they take. Many wind up starting an S type of business and not a B type of business. Again, one is not necessarily better than the other. Both have different strengths, weaknesses, risks, and rewards. But many people who want to start a B type of business wind up with an S type of business and become stalled in their quest to move to the right side. Many new entrepreneurs want to do this. Hold on, reread that. But many people who want to start a business or a B type of business wind up with an S type of business and become stalled in their quest to move to the right side. Many new entrepreneurs want to do this. Switch from E to B. We're going to find a better place that's more quiet and suitable for you guys and less distractions. I'll be back. Okay, I continue. But they wind up instead doing this and getting stuck there. So they want to switch from an E employee to a B business, and they end up going from an E employee and S self-employed. Many then attempt to do this. S self-employed to B business. But only a few who attempt this actually make it. Why? Because the technical skills and human skills to be successful in each quadrant are different. You must learn the skills and mindset required by a quadrant in order to find true success there. Drinking my tea, you know what I'm saying? The difference between an S type of business and a B type of business. Okay. Okay, that's done. The difference between the S type of business and the B type of business. Those who are true Bs can leave their businesses for a year or more and return to find their business more profitable and running better than when they left it. If in a true S type of business, if the S left for a year or more, chances are there would be no business left to return to. So what causes the differences? Saying it simply, an S owns a job and a B owns a system and then hires competent people to operate the system. Or put it another way, in many cases, the S is the system. That is why they can't leave. For example, let's take a look at typical dentist. A dentist spends years in school learning to become a self-contained system. The client, get a toothache. You go see your dentist. He fixes your tooth. You pay and go home. You're happy and you tell all your friends about your great dentist. In most cases, the dentist can do the entire job by himself. The problem is that if the dentist goes on a vacation, so does his income. B business owners can go on a vacation forever because they own a system, not a job. If the B is on a vacation, the money still comes in. To be successful as a B requires ownership or control of systems and the ability to lead people. For S to evolve into Bs, they need to convert who they are and what they know into a system, and many aren't able to do that, or they're often too attached to the system to let go and let other people in. Can you make a better hamburger than McDonald's? I think so. I mean, I wouldn't quote me on that though. Many people come to me for advice on how to start a company or how to raise money for a new product or idea. I listen usually for about 10 minutes, and within that time, I can tell where their focus is. Is it the product or the business system? In those 10 minutes, I most often hear words such as these. Remember, the importance of being a good listener and allowing words to direct you to the core values of a person's soul. This is a far better product than company XYZ makes. I've looked everywhere and nobody has this product. I'll give you the idea for this product. All I want is 25% of the profits. So this sounds like a B. Wait, no, that sounds like an I. I've been working on this product. I've been working on this product, book, music, score, invention for years. Okay, so boom, I got it. The last one is a S. The third one is a I. I looked everywhere and nobody has this product. The second one is a B. This is a far better product than company XYZ makes. The first one is an E. These are the words of a person generally operating from the left side, the E, S side. Oh shit, never mind. It's important to be gentle at this time because I'm dealing with core values and ideas that have been entrenched for years, maybe handed down from generations. If I'm not gentle or patient, I could damage a fragile and sensitive launch of an idea, and more importantly, a human being ready to evolve into another quadrant. It's important to be gentle at this time because I'm dealing with core values and ideas that have been entrenched for years, maybe handed down for generations. If I'm not gentle or patient, I could damage a fragile and sensitive launch of an idea, and more importantly, a human being ready to evolve into another quadrant. The hamburger and the business. I'm definitely ready to evolve into another quadrant. Like, yeah. I've tried employee. We need to try something different. We need to do something different. I've tried S, and I know I can do an S. It's not that hard, but we need to do something different. You feel me? We're going to do an I, man. We're going to an I. I know where I'm going. I am grateful I am a successful day trader. The hamburger and the business. The hamburger and the business. Since I need to be gentle at this point in the conversation, I often use the McDonald's hamburger. Example for clarification. After listening to their pitch, I slowly ask, can you personally make a better hamburger than McDonald's? So far, 100% of the people I've talked with about their new idea or product have said yes. They can all prepare, cook, and serve a better quality hamburger than McDonald's. Next, I asked them, can you personally build a better business system than McDonald's? Can I personally build a better system? Okay, I see what he's doing. Start over. The hamburger and the business. Since I need to be gentle at this point in the conversation, I often use the McDonald's hamburger example for clarification. After listening to their pitch, I slowly ask, can you personally make a better hamburger than McDonald's? So far, 100% of the people I talk with about their new idea or product have said yes. They can all prepare, cook, and serve a better quality hamburger than McDonald's. Next, I asked them, can you personally build a better business system than McDonald's? Some people see the difference immediately and some don't. And I would say the difference is whether the person is fixated on the left side of the quadrant, which is focused on the idea of the better burger, or on the right side of the quadrant, which is focused on the business system. I do my best to explain that there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there offering far superior products or services than offered by the mega rich multi-taxional corporations. Just as there are billions of people who can make a better burger than McDonald's. But only McDonald's has created the system that has served billions of burgers. That's true. See the other side. If people can begin to see this truth, I then suggest they go to McDonald's, buy a burger, and sit and look at the system that delivered that burger. Take note of the trucks that delivered the raw burger, the rancher that raised the beef, the buyer who bought the beef, and the TV ads that helped sell the beef. Notice the training of young, inexperienced people to say the same words, hello, welcome to McDonald's, as well as the doctor of the franchise, the regional officers, the bakeries that bake the buns, and the millions of pounds of french fries that taste exactly the same all over the world. Then include the stockbrokers raising money for McDonald's on Wall Street. If they can begin to understand the whole picture, then they have a chance at moving to the B and I side. And I do. I'm understanding the whole system behind it. You know what I'm saying? The sales, the marketing, the negotiation, the split commissions and the pay and all this just to come down to a burger. Like, when he said system, I was thinking, okay, well, you think about the person who's cooking the burger. You put him on the grill. Then after that, you think about the person who's wrapping the burger. And then the sauce, forget the wrap. First, you got to put the ketchup, the mustard, the mayonnaise, all this type of stuff. Then this really has me wanting to go to McDonald's just to go buy a burger. This makes me want to go to McDonald's just to buy a burger to observe the whole process of it. And then what you see is not even the process. Like, imagine what goes on behind it. Like, the trucks that's coming from fucking Carolina, California, delivering the food all the way to Florida, and then going to a warehouse, potentially, I don't know, a distributor, and then breaking it down into boxes, and then layering those boxes of 50 pounds of regular cheeseburger patties, and then shipping the package, wrapping the package, mailing the package to these different franchises of different locations in McDonald's. And then after you do that, you think about how even the truck, like, is the truck keeping the food cool? Like, this is all a system. This is all a process the burger has to go through just to even be able to get inside of the building. And then not only that, you got to have managers that's working in the building that is counting whether we have the amount of products we need to even sell for a certain amount of week. Like, okay, we got 500 burgers to sell in this week, and we're going to need this much, and once we get to this amount, we got to stop selling because we got to be able to re-up on next amount. So we have to start telling customers that we're no longer serving ice cream because we don't have this certain, you know what I'm saying? It could be so many things to break down this one process, but I'm able to see that. I'm able to break it down, so I have the potential and chance to move into the B and the I side. With that being said, now we're on the I. The reality is that there are a limited new ideas, billions of people with services or products to offer, millions of products, and only a few people who know how to build excellent business systems. Bill Gates didn't build a great product. He bought somebody else's product and built a powerful global system around it. That was a lot. How y'all doing today? Whew. If you was able to break it down how I was just able to break it down, you're on your journey to becoming a B and an I. I know it may not seem like it right now, but trust the process. Keep investing in yourself, and you will get where you're going. I pray that I get where I'm going, and wherever I'm meant to be is where I'm meant to be. But just keep working towards what you're working towards, and you'll eventually get to where you're going. With that being said, I was not kidding about thinking about buying a McDonald's burger. I might just find a way to come up with something and go buy a McDonald's burger just to try to, like, observe the whole entire process about it. The I, investor. Investors make money with money. They don't have to work because their money is working for them. The I quadrant is the playground of the rich. Regardless of which quadrant people make their money in, if they hope someday to be rich, they ultimately must come to the I quadrant. It's in the I quadrant that money becomes converted to wealth. The cash flow quadrant. The cash flow quadrant simply makes decisions on how income is generated, whether as an E, employee, S, self-employed, B, business owner, or I, investor. Let's read that again. The cash flow quadrant simply makes distinctions on how income is generated, whether as an E, employee, S, self-employed, B, business owner, or I, investor. So it's talking about how each of these quadrants generate income. The differences are summarized below. E, you have a job. S, you own a job. I, money works for you, which would be like day trading, because when you trade money, the money's working for you. You can go to sleep and wake up, nigga, that shit gonna be wow right now, you feel me? I'm getting excited about that. That's the direction I need to be going towards, because, like, imagine, right, I invest like $1,000 or something like that, and, like, then you wake up and then you see like 5,000. Like, damn, how the fuck did 1,000 turn into 5,000? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm kind of like elated right now. I'm feeling elated. I am feeling elated because I am extremely excited about that. Like, I am grateful I am a successful day trader. Hold on, just give me a second. I'm just gonna stop right here, and, like, we just move forward with another time, another day. Cause what? I want to cultivate this energy right now. Like, I just want to sit in this this elatedness, this jubilation, this ecstatic feeling. Y'all ain't feeling what I'm feeling, man? Let me know in the comments, man. Hold on. None of y'all probably ain't never got this far. It's 44 minutes in, bro. I'm 44 minutes in, almost to an hour in the next next 10 minutes. Let me know if you made it this far, man. Say I or yeah. Whatever quadrant you would aspire to be in. If you made it this far in the comments in the video, say E, say S, say B, or say I. You gotta drop one of those letters. You gotta drop one of those letters, okay? You got to. Hold on. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of raw footage. Mama. How much a McDonald's burger costs, you think?
Cheeseburger like $1.
Perfect. All right. Well, we will be on a quest to get a McDonald's burger. All right, let's continue. OPT and OPM. Most of us have heard that the secrets to great riches and wealth are OPT, others people's time. I haven't heard of this. OPM, others people's money. Oh, well, I have heard of that. I've heard of that. You don't make money, you take money from other people. I haven't heard of other people's time though. OPT and OPM are found in the B and I quadrants. For the most part, people who work in the E and S quadrants are the OP, other people whose time and money are being used. Yeah, if you want to work as a self-employed business owner or a employer, your time and money is going to be used by someone else because you're not able to handle that responsibility, I guess, And it's also about, like, when you talk about spirit, when he talked about spiritual core and who you are, you have to think about how you are willing, like, if you're willing to be responsible for your finances, you're going to have to take responsibility for your financial life, your financial destiny. It's a saying, what's unconscious remain unconscious, and it will be called destiny or as fate until you become conscious of it. So once you become conscious of what it is, like, so this book is actually really a good book to become conscious of where you are financially. Like, if you want to be an E, you want to be an S, you want to be a B, you want to be an I. And it's not about what you want to be. It's actually about who you are, what you're naturally doing. And I just caught myself in awe. And whoever's here, you've been able to be here. And I'm grateful. Goddamn straight. I am grateful. I don't want to be too loud because the microphone's pretty close. I am grateful I'm able to share this experience with whoever's here still watching this towards the end of this video now, because I've realized I just got excited about being an investor. I got excited about waking up, seeing more money than I initially invested in. I don't know how I'm going to be able to get myself to a point like that or get where I'm going, but I know I need to dedicate my life from now on as a trader, as where am I exactly supposed to be with this day trading shit? I'm just going to say I am grateful I am a successful day trader, and I'm going to follow my intuition, and whatever reveals itself to me will show itself to me, and it's going to manifest. And I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm not going to put a time frame. I'm not going to put space on it, but shit, in the next 2 years or so, I might be in a different position. Shit, I could be a millionaire by the end of this year, and the next year I'll be in a different position as long as I keep getting knowledge, keep turning that knowledge into power. You know what I'm saying? And keep growing and evolving. Follow people of who you want to become. Don't follow nobody you don't want to become. Why would you follow a real estate agent if you want to be a rapper? You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You might got family friends who became something like that, but if you want to be a rapper, you gonna want to hang around other rappers. You want to be an investor, a day trader. You got to hang around people who day trade. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, a primary reason Kim and I took time to build, even events, like, you got to find events that's going to be hosting sections and places that will allow you to be able to hang around those type of people, your crowd, your tribe, your people. A primary reason Kim and I took time to build a B type of business rather than an S type was because we recognized the long-term benefit of using other people's time. One of the drawbacks to being a successful S is that success simply means more hard work. That's true. That is the reality of being a self-employed. You have to put in more hard work to get more money. I've been a self-employed person before, so I know that if you do what you do exceptionally well and you think you're the best at it, then you can set the bar and price on however much you want to charge. So if you want to charge, let's say car washing. I worked with someone who did car washing business before. If he say, oh, for a BMW and AMG or something, he charge, let's say 500 for this wash. Shit, my boy, hey, you can't go wrong with washing the car for a good 5 hours just for $500 in one day. Now imagine if you got 3 cars lined up throughout the week. And I used to get excited about that, but I did it. I lived it, so I know what it's like. Even dumping trash, like, I mean, you can't really you can't set the price, because I was asking for $5, playing myself low, even though the trash can was like way across the other side of the apartment. But imagine if I was saying fucking $20 to dump your trash. That's $20. And then let's say I do 5 trash bags in one day. 20 times 5. 20, that's 200. That's 200 right there. You know what I'm saying? That's $200 right there. Or 20 times 10 trash bags. That's 200. I miscalculated. 20 times 10 trash bags, that's 200. Let's say I did fucking 30 trash bags in one day, and I got $20 every time for those 30 trash bags. 30 times 20. You do the math. We ain't fucking off here. Washing washing a Rolls Royce for $1,000 in one day, like shit. I'll take that. I'll take that offer. See, and that's me being able to shift from any quadrant, because I can be an employee, I can be a S, I can be an I, and I can be a B. You know what I'm saying? I think once I get successful in an I, I'm going to go towards a B, and I can figure out what can I do to be a B, and wherever that takes me. Okay, moving forward. One of the drawbacks of being a successful S is that success simply means more hard work. In other words, good work results in more hard work and longer hours. True. In designing a B type of business, success simply means increasing the system and hiring more people. In other words, you work less, earn more, and enjoy more free time. The remainder of this book goes through the skills and mindset required for the right side of the cash flow quadrant. It's my experience that being successful on the right side requires a different mindset and different technical skills. If people are flexible enough to make these changes, I think they'll find the process of achieving greater financial security or freedom easy. For other people, the process might be too difficult, because many people are frozen in one quadrant and one mindset. At a minimum, you will find out why some people work less, earn more, pay less in taxes, and feel more financially secure than others. It's simply a matter of knowing which quadrant to work out of and when. A guide to freedom. The cash flow quadrant is not a set of rules. It's only a guide for those who wish to use it. It guided Kim and me from financial struggle to financial security and then to financial freedom. The difference between the rich and everyone else. A few years ago, I read an article that said most rich people receive 70% of their income from investments, or the I quadrant, and less than 30% from wages, or the E quadrant. If they were in E, chances are that they were employees of their own corporation. Their income looked like this: E 30, I 70. For everyone else, the poor and the middle class, at least 80% of their income comes from wages from the E or S quadrant, and less than 20% from investments in the I quadrant. E, S, I. Okay, I'm kind of getting lost here, but I guess I'll pick back up. We're almost done too, guys. We're almost done. You know what I'm saying? An hour, it's going to be in. I did an hour Thursday. I'm doing an hour today, and it's Saturday, I want to say. Saturday. You know, we got a good call in. Hey, y'all better not call that motherfucking number. It's gonna be issues. It's gonna be issues over. The difference between being rich and being wealthy. In chapter 1, I wrote that Kim and I were millionaires by 1989, but we weren't financially free until 1994. There's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. By 1989, our businesses was making us a lot of money. We were earning more and working less because the business system was growing without any more physical effort on our part. We had achieved what most people would consider financial success. However, we still needed to convert the cash flow coming from the business into even more tangible assets that would generate additional cash flow. We had grown our business into a success. Now it was time to focus on growing our assets to the point where the cash flow from all of our assets would be greater than than our living expenses. Now it's time to focus on growing our assets to the point where the cash flow from all of our assets will be greater than our living expenses. That makes sense. You want to be able to have your assets generate more income so that way you can live your living lifestyle, whatever your desired lifestyle is. So your assets should be making more money than your expenses. If you're spending more than if your liabilities is more expense than your assets, then you're living poor. You're living a B. You're living a S. Your liability, and it don't even have to be that, because you can be a business owner and an investor and still have liabilities that will be more than your assets. I do remember reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and they show something like this. But his income, his business is going into his income, which is his asset, so that way he can make more money, work for itself. Don't have a business and then invest in a car that would be more expensive. That would be more of a liability, unless you're using that car to rent. You got someone that you paying to make money as a Lyft driver or Uber driver, and then you're getting money from that person. You say, okay, well, give me $20 from every time you earn something, or give me $50 from every time you earn something. So by the end of this week, I need to be paid at least $50, and you get to keep the rest. You get to keep the rest of whatever you earn. You know. Moving forward, by 1994, the passive income from all of our assets was greater than our expenses. At that point, we were wealthy. Our business is considered an asset because it generated income and operated without much physical input. From our own personal sense of wealth, we wanted to make sure we also had tangible assets, such as real estate and stocks, that were throwing off more passive income than our expenses before we claimed to be wealthy. Once the income coming from tangible assets in our assets column was greater than the money coming in from the business, we sold the business to our partner. We were now wealthy. Damn. That's called boss moves right there. The definition of wealth. The definition of wealth is the number of days you can survive without physically working. Like, right, I'm not working, right? I can't survive. I gotta figure out how can I scrape up some money so I can get a dollar burger and not even eat it. I'm just doing it for the manifestation of the B and the S. I mean, the B and the I. I know I'm shifting to an I, but if I can buy a burger, just, you know what I'm saying, to live out that experience, then I'm making a step towards who I'm becoming, you know? Anyway, the definition of wealth. The definition of wealth is the number of days you can survive without physically working, or anyone else in your household physically working, and still maintain your standard of living. Like, if I want to go catch a flight right now, even though I don't have a job, I could do that. But because I don't have a job and I can't even catch a flight right now, I can't maintain my living lifestyle that I want to live right now. Shit, and I don't even be living a crazy lifestyle. I be living minimalist. You know what I'm saying? I be enjoying the simple shit. Shit, I don't mind going to the store, buying me a sandwich every now and then, and, you know, going to a pool or a park. I wanted to go to the pool today, man, but I couldn't go because I ain't have no money to put in the gas tank. And I ain't want to ask my girl because, like, bro, she kind of already been putting a lot of money in, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn, I know she'll go for it and she'll do it for me. But, like, you know, for example, if your monthly expenses are $5,000 a month and you have $20,000 in savings, your wealth is approximately 4 months or 120 days. Wealth is measured in time, not dollars. By 1994, Kim and I were wealthy indefinitely. Bearing great economic changes because the income from our investments was greater than our monthly expenses. Ultimately, it's not how much money you make that matters, but how much money you keep. I heard that saying many times, numerous times. And that makes me think about whole life insurance. Because I'm also reading What Would Billionaires Do? And they talked about having a whole life insurance and being able to invest in that keeps money, whether you're living in for the next family and the next family and the next family. And how long that money works for you. Every day I meet many people who make a lot of money, but all their money goes out of their expense column. But every time they make a little more money, they go shopping. They often buy a bigger house or a new car, which results in long-term debt and more hard work. Nothing is left to go into the asset column. The money goes out so fast that you think they took some kind of financial laxative. Their cash flow pattern looks like this: job, income, liabilities, then expenses. And it just goes from a whole pattern. And with that being said, we're going to end it right here. We're going to keep it at an hour. If you made it this far, comment a E, comment a S, comment a B, or comment a I. With that being said, stay focused on your growth as a person, continue to gain knowledge, and continue to become better. With that said, I'm out.